All right, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasha'Allah. Giving, of course, all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. All right, so you know who the word refers to as Jesus. All right, whose real name is Yahweh Shah. Oh, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, brother Abaya, right? Yeah, Khan. Yeah, our prayer over there, yeah. It's still 12 over here though, right? But Khan, you know, our prayer. And that's the spirit. That's the spirit because, you know, as you can see from the title of the video, right, Khan. Right, yeah. But yeah, as you can see from the title of the video, right? Hey, I'm going into praying, right? To pray always. So, you know, that's the spirit, right? So let's go to Luke chapter 21 real quick, right? Luke chapter 21, verse 36, right? Because this is the words of Yahweh Shah, all right? Yahweh Shah, the Son of the Most High. So we have to take Yahweh Shah's words, right, and put it on a pedestal, right? Yahweh Shah is over any other man, right, that walked the earth. So let's see what he said about praying, right? Luke chapter 21, verse 36. Watch ye therefore, brothers, we have to watch, right? You got a camp called what? Watchmen for Israel, right? You know, so we gotta be watching, right? The Lord said for us to be watchmen, all right, and warn the people about the destruction that's forth to come, right? It says, watch ye therefore and pray always. So we have to pray always, all right? Don't just, you know, sometimes Jake just prays once a week, right? You can't just pray once a week. Think you're gonna make it, right? You can't do that. You can't pray once a day, all right? You just pray once a day, twice a day. No, that's not praying always, bro. That's not praying always. It says, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. Because we don't want to go through, you know, nobody wants to go through, you know, having to get killed, going all through the torturing, right? Being reviled, right? Being hated of all men, right? No one really wants to go through that. Of course, we would, you know, want to go through it for the Lord, right? For Yahweh Shah, right? If that's our lot, but really, we don't really want to go through that, right? Because it hurts us, it hurts our flesh, right? So you want to be, you know, be able to escape all these things, right? And the Lord, He's going to hide some of His people, right, in the secret chambers, like it says. Let's go to Isaiah, right, real quick, because some brothers and sisters, some of us, we're not going to feel that that destruction, that wrath of the Most High that's coming. All right, some of us will actually escape, and that's why Yahweh Shah is saying you should watch and pray always, so that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 26 and verse 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee." Right? Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. So this is basically the Lord telling Israel, right, during the time of when all hell breaks loose. The Lord is saying, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, right? And shut thy doors about thee, hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. The indignation is talking about the wrath of the Lord, right? So He's going to hide them, right, in these damn secret bunkers, underground bunkers, right? In these, you know, like these mountaintops, like it says in Revelation chapter 6, right? Because in Revelation chapter 6, when the, I believe the sixth seal, right? Yeah, when the sixth seal, after the persecution of the saints, when the sixth seal opens and you know, all hell breaks loose, you know, they're going to, these elites, right? These elite people, you know, the presidents, you know, the prime ministers, the generals, these people that work in that White House, you know, y'all probably saw the movies, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter. They're going to start fleeing to the mountains, some people are moving out of America right now, going to Switzerland, right? Because actually, Switzerland, if for carnal people that think that they can escape America and possibly survive World War III and then they repopulate the earth. All right, that's not going to happen. But like they're leaving America, going to like Africa, escaping, thinking that they're going to escape, right? Um, they're moving to Switzerland, because Switzerland is blocked by the mountains, right? So it's kind of hard to get into Switzerland. But let's just go to Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15, right? And the kings of the earth and the great, I'm going to start at verse 12, right? Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, right? So there's going to be a great earthquake, right? Verse 13, and the stars of heaven fell up onto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, right? And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. That's talking about the missiles hitting the earth, right? It's not talking about actual figs, right? It can be talking about actual figs, right? You're not going to see figs just, come out the earth. It's talking about the missiles hitting the earth, right? That's what that's talking about. Because a fig is not even that big. How can a fig move a island out the way, destroy an island, right, in a country? That doesn't make any sense, right? Verse 15, and the kings of the earth. So these kings of the earth, like actual kings, you actually have kings like in Thailand, and these other countries, right? These like southeastern Asian countries, right? But the kings of the earth, right, going into the prime ministers, the presidents, stuff like that. And the kings of the earth and the great men and the rich men. The great men is going into what? Rich men, the renowned men, right? The generals, right? Stuff like that. And the rich men and the chief captains, right? And the mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks. So they think that they can escape the Most High's judgment. You can't get it. You can't escape. Right? I don't care who you are. Right? If the Most High wants to kill you and destroy you during the time of His wrath, He's going to be able to do so. Right? You can't run away from Him. You can't hide. You can't run. You can't hide. Right? And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Right? It says, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right? Nobody's going to be able to stand unless the Lord allows you to. Right? Now let's go to back to Luke. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 36 again. So we went into that because we're going into how some people or some Israelites are going to be able to escape the persecution, escape all the affliction, right? Now, I said some, not all of us, right? Some of us will have to die. Some of us will get killed, beheaded, persecuted, reviled, tortured, right? That's coming too, all right? Let's go to Luke chapter 21, verse 36. Watch ye therefore, pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? So you got to pray that. You got to, put that in your daily prayers too. That you may be accounted worthy to escape all things, right? All these things. And to what? And to stand before the Son of Man, who is Yahushua. All right? And that's an honor to be able to stand before Yahushua, right? Because really, we shouldn't be standing before Yahushua, right? He's the king, right? We should be kneeling, but he says stand, right? So if you want to stand before the Lord, Yahushua, right, or even be near him, right, and delight in him, right? Hey, you gotta pray that, right? Throw that prayer up. Now let's go to Luke 18, right? Luke chapter 18 and verse 1. It says, and he spake a parable unto them. Who is the he? Yahushua. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and to not faint, right? So what? Yahushua, he he told his disciples that what? You should always pray. That men ought always to pray, right? So we should always be praying, right? And when Yahushua gives a suggestion, most of the time it's a commandment, right? So we should be praying always, throwing up prayers, Yahweh Bash Shah, right? And you can always, like, if you're not in a position, right? Let's say you're at work, you're not able to, or at school, whatever, you're not able to go into a secluded place and go pray. You can pray in your mind too. You can pray in your mind, right? If need be, right? You can pray, just say it with your lips. Because in the book of, let's go to 1 Samuel, right? Even though, let me go to Psalms real quick, right? This is Psalms chapter 55, right? Because this is Psalms chapter 55, verse 17. It says, evening and morning, and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. So this is David talking, and he's saying that at evening and at morning and at noon will he pray. So that's 3 times a day, right? So that was actually our tradition of praying 3 times a day. Daniel did that in Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. He thanked the Most High and prayed unto the Most High 3 times a day. Now, does that mean that that's it? You can just pray 3 times a day? No. Now under Yahushua, this is before all hell breaks loose. Back in the time of David, you could just pray 3 times a day. You could just pray 3 times a day. Why? Because really, even though it was good, right? If you pray more than that during that time, it's better for us to pray more during this time. For one, because Yahushua commanded us to, right? If we're praying always, we're praying more than 3 times, right? But that all hell is about to break loose, right? You see all these prophecies unfolding, right? All hell is literally about to break loose. So we have to be on fire, right? It says, evening and morning, and at noon will I pray and cry aloud. So David said that he would cry aloud when he prays. Now, yes, we can cry aloud too. But if you're, at your job, at a damn library or wherever, a public place, you're not really going to be crying aloud, because in Matthew chapter 6, Yahushua told us to not do that, to go to pray in secret, right? So if you need to pray in public, don't just, cry aloud because, David said, hey, you cry aloud. No, right? You got to use wisdom too, right? So I'm going to go into 1 Samuel real quick. It says, and he shall hear my voice, right? But let me go to 1 Samuel. Let's see how Hannah prayed, right? Our foremother, Hannah, right? Hannah's the mother of Samuel, right? A Nazarite, right? 1 Samuel chapter 1, right? I'm gonna start at right, 1 Samuel chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, and she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. So this is Hannah, and she's in bitterness of her soul because she's barren. So that was a shame, right? I even tell you that Hannah's enemy, her adversary, right, provoked her sword, right, because she was mocking her because she didn't have any kids, right? So back in the ancient world, our women really wanted to have kids, right? And now our women, they don't want kids. They promote not having kids. You see all these abortion clinics, right? Planned Parenthoods in our neighborhoods, in our ghetto, in the ghettos, in the slums, right? You see that, and they're promoting not having kids, right? And that's just furthering the affliction and really just downgrading the population, right? Decreasing the population of the Israelites. And I believe in the state of New York, more black babies, I call them black, but more black babies are dying due to abortion than they are being born, right? So that's a real problem. That's a real problem with our people, right? But be like your foremothers. The foremothers, they really wanted to have kids, right? So we got to take that mindset and bring it back, right? That's part of renewing your mind, right? Verse 11, and she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid. So she's praying, right? And remember me and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. So she's basically vowing a vow to the Lord, saying that if the Lord would give her a child, that she would make that child a Nazarite, right? Verse 12, and it came to pass as she continued praying before the Lord that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, in her mind, right? Because your heart is your mind. Your heart can't speak, right? Don't get simple. You can't. Your heart can't speak. Your heart doesn't have vocal cords, right? But what you want to say comes from your mind, right? It has to register in your mind and then comes out of your mouth. So it can't be talking about her actual heart, all right? It can't be simple, all right? It's not actual heart. It's talking about she spake in her mind, right? Only her lips moved. So only her lips moved. No sound came out, but her voice was not heard. Therefore, Eli thought she had been drunken. So you can pray like that too. If you're in a public place, you can do that, right? Because we see that our foremother was doing that, right? She spake, she was praying, but she wasn't heard, her voice wasn't really heard, right? Now you can do that too. You don't always have to, like, of course, we don't want to be like our forefather David, right? But in certain situations, we can't always cry aloud because we're in a public place and we still need to pray, right? But if you can cry aloud, then by all means do so, right? But let's go to some more precepts, right? So we're going over basically how to pray and to pray always, right? Let's go to First Thessalonians, the classic. First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse right, First Thessalonians 5 and verse 17. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 16. Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing. So the Lord, or basically Paul, is admonishing us that we should pray without ceasing, right? So always continue to pray, right? Throw them prayers up, right? Because we know that our labor is not in vain. Every prayer that you put up, hey, don't think that's in vain, right? Unless you're doing it in sincerity, right? But that's another topic, right? Make sure you're always sincere when you're praying too. All right, because this is First Corinthians 15 and 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, right? So always throw up those prayers because your labor is not in vain. Everything's being recorded, right? Everything's being written down by the angels, right? Through the Lord's power, all right? And nothing can be hid from the eyes of the Lord. So he's always paying attention to our prayers, right? And Lord, really, Sabbath, right? I had another precept. Let me just get this. Right, right, so let's go to Psalms, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 164. It says, 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous works. Thy righteous judgments. So 7 times a day, David prayed or praised the Lord, right? Now, I encourage brothers and sisters to pray 7 times a day, right? That's good. That's a good goal, right? Now, of course, we should always be abounding more and more in our prayers, right? Abounding more and more, right? You shouldn't really be praying as the same amount of prayers as you were about 6 months ago. Let's say 6 months ago, you were praying, 4 times a day. Now, after after a 6-month period, you should be praying more, right? Increase. So we can always double up on our prayers, man. All right? Because really, all that is adding up, right? Let's go to Romans 12 and 12. Actually, before we go to Romans, let's go to Acts. Acts chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, but we will give ourselves continually to prayer. So, the apostle said that, look, we will give ourselves continually to prayer. We will give ourselves to prayer, right? We will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word, right? And the ministry is what? Doing the work, all right? You got to be giving yourself to that too. All right, let's go to Romans chapter 12, verse 12. It says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Instant in prayer. You're quick to pray, right? Oh, let me go pray real quick, right? Oh, I got to go pray, right? Or you just praying, you just praying, right? In the middle of a conversation, you don't have to do that, but, you just quick to pray. That's instant in prayer, right? So let me see if I had any other precepts. I'm thinking. All right, let me see. All right, so no, right? And I can do another video about on how to pray. I think I did that though. Yeah, I did a video on that. Right. So if you don't know how to pray, go ahead and check that out. Basically, and let me get Daniel 6 and 10. Right. Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, and as he did before time. So he gave, right, so Daniel, he prayed 3 times a day, right? 1 Peter 3 and 12, come on, let's get it. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Right? Good precept, good precept. So, if you're doing the Lord's work, right, and you're keeping his commandments, right, you're doing his work, you're praying, you're fasting, right, it says that what? The eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. So he's going to hear your prayer. Right? He's going to hear your prayer. But he's not going to hear your prayer if you're just off and wicked all the time. That's the contrary. Right? Let me go to James chapter 1, verse 1. Right? It says, James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mahashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So this is to you, right? The 12 tribes. If you're not of the 12 tribes, this ain't for you. All right? This whole Bible is not for you. All right? Says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Because Satan, he's going hard in these last days. You can tell it's the last days because, as the book of Revelation says, he knows that he have but a short time. Right? Talking about Satan. So Satan, he's going hard. Right? That's why we're always falling into temptation. Right? It's a lot. It says, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. So when we're being tried, that works patience, right? But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. right? Meaning lacking nothing. Verse 5, if any of you lack wisdom, and this is how you get wisdom, right? Let him ask of the Most High that give it to all men liberally and upbraid